Hi friends, this is Miss Mandy and I'm in my kitchen today and we are going to make a dessert together and this dessert is called cherry turnovers. So I'll show you the ingredients that I have here. I have some canned cherry pie filling. I have some flour, which I've put a little bit of flour out on my mat that I'm going to be rolling the dough out on. And I have some puff pastry that I bought at the store, which has been defrosting. So that's right here. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to carefully unfold it onto my floured surface here. And I'm going to try to roll it out into a rectangle that is 14 inches by 9 inches. So I have a tape measure here to check and see how I do with that. So I'm going to start rolling this out until it looks like a rectangle. Oh, it's a little sticky, so I'm going to get a little more flour on it. Okay, I'm going to roll this out. So it was a square. Now I'm rolling it flatter and longer to make it into a what? What shape is it starting to look like here? Hopefully it's starting to look like a rectangle. I'm going to flip it one more time and give it a little bit more of a roll. And it's not a perfect rectangle, but it'll be just fine. I'm going to measure it now and see how long it is. So far, it is 13.5 inches. I'm gonna roll it out a teeny bit more. So it's in a nice rectangle here. All right. So it's supposed to be 14 inches this way. The length should be 14 inches. So it is just a little bit over 14 inches. Can you see the 14? That's about how long it is. And then its width is 9 inches. So it's up to here on the tape measure, 9 inches. So it's really exactly the size that we want it to be. So now we're going to cut it into pieces. So we're going to use a little bit of fractions here. So first I'm going to cut it the long way in half. Just like this. I'm using a pizza cutter because I think that'll be easy. So now I cut my rectangle in half. How many rectangles do I have now? I have 2. So 1/2 and 1/2 makes 1 whole. So I cut that one in half. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to cut it into fourths. So I'm going to cut it into 4 separate pieces that are equal. So this is 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4, bless you. And that makes up 1 whole, okay? And I'll show you what I'm gonna do with each one of these. And these are now what shape? These are now squares. So next, I'm going to take, this is 1 tablespoon. I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of the cherry pie filling and I'm going to put it in the center of one of these little pastry squares. And then I'm going to fold it into a triangle. A little bit of it is dripping out. Maybe I put a little bit too much in the middle. So I'm folding it, so now it's a triangle, and I'm gonna try to squish it shut with this fork. And a lot is squeezing out the edges. So the next one I make, I'm probably gonna put a little less cherry filling in the middle. All right, so this is my first cherry turnover that I made. It turned out a little messy. I'm gonna make the rest of them and then I'll show you what they look like before we put them in the oven. So Mira decided she wanted to help, so she is rolling out some of the dough too. There she goes. So she's turning that square into a rectangle by rolling it out nice and flat. We made some of our turnovers over here. A lot of them leaked, and we found out that if we didn't make perfect squares, it was really hard to fold them into nice triangles. So they may be a little messy, but they're definitely gonna be tasty. Good job, Mira. Good rolling. Okay, so we have our oven preheated to 425 degrees, and we have our turnovers ready to go in the oven. So we're gonna put those in right now. There they are in the oven. And we will set our timer for 15 minutes and see how they look when they're done. Okay, so while the turnovers are in the oven, we are going to make an icing glaze to go on top of them for when they're all done. So I have a tablespoon measuring spoon here. I have a 1 cup measuring cup. I have some confectioner's sugar, powdered sugar here, and I have milk. So I'll show you how I make this glaze. So I'm going to take the sugar and pour a cup of sugar into the measuring cup. That's about a cup. Pour it into the bowl. And then I'm going to take a tablespoon of milk and add it to the sugar. And then finally, I'm going to stir it all around until it makes a nice glaze that I can drizzle on top of the finished turnovers. Okay, so I'm finished making my glaze and I stirred it all together, and it looks like this when it is done, and I want it to drizzle really nicely, so it looks kind of like that, so I can drizzle it all over the turnovers when they come out of the oven. So I'll show you when they come out, us putting the glaze on. Okay, so here we have our finished turnovers, and I put them on a cooling rack to cool for a few minutes so that they weren't super hot. And I put them underneath some foil, because now I'm going to take the icing that we made and drizzle the icing on top. So you can kind of do the drizzling any way you want. You just want to get it on each of the turnovers, and you can serve these turnovers warm right away, or if you don't want to eat them right away, you can also stick them in the freezer and reheat them when you're ready to eat them. So I'm going to finish doing this. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you want to try making these at home too. Bye!